Internet, Eric here. Rachel's over there.
Hello.
She wanted to sit in with this one. If you've been following my channel lately, I've been reviewing all the Halloween films. Hopefully, trying to get them all done before we go see the new one, maybe this weekend. Um, Last one in the original series today, we're talking Halloween Resurrection. If you're new to my channel, welcome. We discuss plot spoilers, specific scenes, what have you. Basic plot of this is after, and we're assuming you've seen H2O because I'm going to spoil the end of H2O with my plot description.
It's on VHS, so if you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it came out in 2000 something. I don't know. It's not on this, but the remake came out in 2007, so obviously it's been before that. We get a recap of the end of H2O. Laurie Strode is now in a mental asylum because when she killed Michael Myers, she decapitated him with that fire axe. You find out she killed a paramedic by mistake, and she's holed up in the insane asylum. Michael shows up, actually kills her, and then decides to go home because he's got nothing better to do.
Yeah.
And while he's there, he finds out that Busta Rhymes, of all people, and his sidekick Tyra Banks have this reality type show where all these contestants are giving cameras so people watching online can follow their movement, and they're being made to live in Michael Myers' childhood home to try to maybe find out why he is how he is.
And hilarity ensues.
It doesn't. But that's the basic plot of this. Should we get with the good or the bad first?
The bad.
No, let's do the good because there's less good.
Okay.
First off, I love the opening sequence with Jamie Lee Curtis. I like the idea. How can I say this? They did a good job for a horror movie, in my opinion, explaining how they can have a sequel with the fact that she decapitated him in the last movie.
Correct.
I like the idea how they added a couple scenes. They showed how he switched places with a paramedic and he didn't speak because he crushed his windpipe. That's fine. I like the look of Laurie Strode, the long hair, the "my life is over" type of deal. I like the little bit of cat and mouse games they play. You got a little bit of a feel of an old 80s horror movie with the security guards who aren't stupid, like Dewey from Scream or
Dewdrop.
any stereotypical cop in the horror movies. I liked the final confrontation. I don't mind that Laurie Strode was killed. My only gripe in that scene was when she's got him up in not the noose, but the snare trap, and he's hanging upside down, and she's going to kill him. Michael makes it seem like he's trying to tell her, "Stop, I'm not Michael." And for some reason, she believes him, and she wants to. I want to see, for sure that it's really you. The first time she ever saw his face was in 1978. She hasn't seen him since. Why would she know if it's really Michael or not?
Well, I think if you go through a traumatic experience, such as the first one, that she would remember what he looked like from that one.
It's been almost 25 years.
Think about it, though. Somebody goes around killing your family. They're not easily forgotten.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is she saw his face once over 20 years ago in the dark. But other than that,
who knows?
There's some trucks behind us. Other than that, I really enjoy the opening sequence. The characters that I do enjoy in this film, I like, what's his name? Sean Patrick Thomas.
Yeah.
This guy here from Save the Last Dance, and
he's done a few others.
He's likable. You meet him when you're introduced to all the group, all the characters, and he's like a cook. He's trying to be
a chef.
Trying to be a chef. So he knows his way around knives. He knows, certain stuff like that. So and due to the fact that he knows spices and stuff like that, he kind of plants the seeds where he's looking around in the kitchen and he knows that the spices are fresh in this house. That not everything's quite right. I like he's very likable. He's got a good chemistry with all the other characters. And then I like his death scene. I like when he's taking on Michael to let the girls escape. He's taking on Michael with two knives and he's swinging them at him and he's talking a little shit, which isn't as bad. It's not as bad as some shit talking we're going to get to. And I liked his death. I liked the homage to the first movie where he was impaled to the door or to the wall or whatever. And he's impaled with two knives and then a third one is added. So it's kind of an homage to the original kill where the guy's pinned to the wall in the first one, but they make it their own. The music is fine. It's the typical Halloween music. Michael is brutal in some kills. That one, I liked the one where the dumbass kid from American Pie, he gets a couple stabbings and then he get a knife to the head. He's fine. The redheaded chick, she gets impaled. That's fine. And that's about it. Oh, and you know what? I like the concept. I like the concept of the reality show because reality shows
they started to be big.
They were big back then. I like the idea. I always like the idea of going to like in a haunted house or whatever to try to debunk that. So I liked the idea where these kids were supposed to go to Michael's home to find out what made him crazy. That's about all the positives I can think.
Yeah. I mean, the overall acting of the main girl was not terrible, but it wasn't extraordinary.
See, she wasn't annoying.
No.
But she wasn't memorable, so she wasn't positive or negative. I'm not going to ding her because she's just a lead in a slasher movie. Right. Nothing special. I mean, then there's the guy who's kind of an asshole who's picking on the redheaded hippie. Yeah. He has a couple sexual innuendo jokes that are lame, but it's not cringeworthy.
Yeah.
When we talk to lame, we'll get to lame and cringeworthy sexual jokes with the other characters. That's all the positives. Let's get to the negatives. Okay. First off, this fucker right here, Busta Rhymes.
Busta.
I don't care that they had to get a rapper to be in a Halloween movie, but this fucker can't act to save his life. He's not charismatic at all. He's supposed to be a jerk because he's just doing this for money, and of course you find out he's planting some fake bodies and this and that. So that's fine because he's just trying to shiest everybody.
Right.
But he's just so god awful in this movie. The one scene where he's in a hotel room, and the lead girl doesn't want to do this anymore. She doesn't want to go through with this, and he tries to give her a pep talk, and it's just so unbelievable. His line delivery is horrible, and as she is convinced to still do it, he gives himself a monologue and pats himself on the back, and he just comes off just horrible. There's
the part where he's like yelling at Michael Myers.
Yeah, there's a scene where I just said that he's planted a lot of stuff to make it look like Michael is evil. Michael was tortured. Like they find a high chair with chains on it. They find fake dead bodies in the basement because like when the hippie chick and I don't know,
American Pie.
Not American Pie guy, but the other douche.
Oh.
They're fucking around in the basement, and then the dead bodies fall on them.
Yeah.
But he lifts up an arm, and it says like "Made in Taiwan" or something like that. So he's doing that because Busta does make a good point how a lot of this can be boring, just a bunch of stupid kids walking around and nothing happens.
Right.
But so he dresses up like Michael Myers, doesn't put any gloves on, so you can still see his black skin. And then there's a scene where Michael is walking behind him, and you're thinking to yourself, wow, this can be good. He's going to kill Busta Rhymes. And instead, Busta turns around. He thinks it's his assistant dressed as Michael, and he just shit talks Michael and like telling him to basically fuck off, go into the back area and hang out with Tyra Banks. And he even like goes and like hits him like in the forehead with his finger and talks shit. And Michael fucking does it.
Yeah.
Michael Myers would have stabbed him and then just let him there, lay on the ground. That was dumb. I don't know if it was in Busta's contract to not die, there's the scene where I understand he's Busta Rhymes. He's probably the biggest name other than Jamie Lee Curtis in this film. So he's gonna kick Michael's ass in like one scene. He does, but he's doing these fake Bruce Lee type sounds, and he's doing spin kicks, and he kicks Michael out of a window. Okay, but then he does it again at the end when main chick is taking on Michael. He's got to be the hero that busts down the burning door, and he says "trick or treat, motherfucker," and says that 3 or 4 times. Still kicks the shit out of Michael. Although I am happy that you do see Michael throw him against the wall with like superhuman strength. So that's fine. But Busta fucking sucked. And it's not just because it's a rapper. It's just because he fucking sucked. Tyra Banks, she's in it to shake her butt to a dance song. That's all she does. And then she drinks champagne with Busta Rhymes, and then she's not even killed on screen.
I thought the way the one girl died was pretty lame with the head belt.
Yeah, there's this blonde chick. You see her in the back right there. She starts off kind of annoying, but I grew to like her when she was playing off the American Pie guy because he was this pervert. He keeps trying to get her to undress on camera, and he puts his camera down her cleavage and stuff like that. When she's giving him shit back, I liked her. But her death was kind of dumb. She finds American Pie's... I'm just going to call him that.
Yeah,
she finds American Pie's dead body. He falls out of, like, the attic, and he's hanging from the stairs, or the ladder. She's got a great scream. Everyone's downstairs. They look at her. Michael walks by. She does another great scream, and then he swings his kitchen knife. Remember, this is a kitchen knife, a butcher knife. And he literally decapitates her. Now, I know Michael's supposed to be superhuman. I don't think so. You're supposed to suspend a little bit of disbelief in these type of horror movies, but no, didn't like. I would have rather she got stabbed in the face or in the gut or something like that. But Michael does make up for it. Like there is a scene where he grabs one of the guys and he lifts him up and he like crushes his head where the blood comes out of his eyes. So a lot of the kills are hit and miss. They're fine for the most part. American Pie guy.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. But then after he decapitates her, her head just kind of bounces down the stairs. It rolls.
Yeah, which is okay because you get the effect on the camera of it spinning. But I just thought it was lame that she got decapitated with a kitchen knife.
Yeah.
If it was an axe or, say, like Jason Voorhees, you can believe him doing it with a machete. Not a kitchen knife. American Pie, he's annoying as hell because he's the sex fiend. He's always trying to get her to take off her clothes. Talking about, oh, you're sitting at Judith Myers is yeah, she's fighting a cold. That and the movie made her sick. She's sitting where Judith Myers was murdered in the 60s, and she's, you're sitting right there where she was naked, and it just gets annoying because he's just so unlikable. I wonder if they're like, hey, you were in an American Pie, let's make you like Stifler and just less gross. But didn't like him. And then, let's see, what else was wrong with this? The Decker stuff.
To talk about.
There is a subplot where this is the main girl right here. I can't think of her name. I don't really care. She's been chatting online with this guy named Decker. And she's a college senior or something, and he's a college freshman. It doesn't really matter. And he promises to watch her episodes. So she's watching as this is going on. He's at a Halloween party. And eventually, she says she's asking Decker for help because they're texting while he's on the computer, whatever that is. And she's asking where he is. And it's just a long, drawn-out, lame situation. Where's he at?
In the house.
In the house. Maybe it's because technology was so early with this stuff when this film was made, but you see how fast he's typing, and then the text just goes super, super slow. He's just a dork. He's just a dork, and that whole situation with him I thought was unnecessary, and I just didn't like it at all. I hate the scene where they're in a shed, and she's hiding from Michael. And then she's hiding. She pulls out a chainsaw, which is cool because you've never seen a chainsaw used in a Halloween movie. But when she's going after Michael, she says, "And this is for Blonde Girl, and this is for Save the Last Dance, and this is for American Pie." Or, she's literally saying that every time she takes a swing at Michael. She's saying another character's name, and it's just retarded.
And she's not even swinging it in a way where that would even cut him.
No, she's just kind of like, get away. Get away.
She's like patting him with the flat side. Of
It's
the chainsaw.
it's like, yeah, it's kind of like, when, not to sound sexist, but when a woman walks into the kitchen, she sees a mouse and she's got a broom and she's trying to hit it with the broom. And this was directed by a guy he directed part 2. So boo on you. Although I didn't really care for part 2 anyways. Part 2 is the one where they were in the hospital. Jamie Lee had the bad wig. The wig in this looked a lot better than the one in part 2.
Yeah,
I'll give them that. What else? Can I praise anything else about this? They did do a good job of making the Myers house creepy looking. Keeping it in the dark. The fake props with, the color. I liked where they found a coloring book and like the eyes were scribbled out and someone drew like a knife in someone's hand. So.
And like the random dolls with like things sticking in the eyes.
Yeah, so there is some creativity to this movie. But I was never bored. I'll tell you that. The runtime is quick. This was not as bad as I was thinking it was going to be. Because everyone shits on this one so much. I think it's mainly because the Busta stuff is just so fucking retarded. That takes precedent over some of the stuff that isn't really that bad. Oh, speaking of, let's talk about his mask. Okay. When Michael, I'll show you. You remember what he looked like, see? When Michael is in the light, he looks fine. He's got some painted on eyebrows or something, which looks really bad. But when he's in the light, it looks okay. When he's in the dark, like right there, he looks like a fucking clown. Like literally, I was expecting Ronald McDonald to be attacking people, because all he needed was like the red lips. I couldn't help but picture a clown. It looked really horrible in the dark, but in the light it was fine. But overall, I'm gonna say Halloween Resurrection, as dumb as a lot of it was, it wasn't.
It's not number 5.
She said it too. See, she hates part 5 too. But I'm never bored. The pacing is all right. Some of the characters are good. I like a lot of the deaths. I love the Jamie Lee sequence. Oh, speaking of the Jamie Lee sequence, one of my favorite parts is because she's at the insane asylum, there's this fat guy who is obsessed with serial killers. Oh, yeah. And he's pretending to be, he's caught in the front yard or something, and he's pretending to be John Wayne Gacy, and he talks about all of John Wayne Gacy's, kills or whatever. And then after Michael is done killing Jamie, Laurie Strode, whatever, Jamie Lee Curtis, he goes back to the fat guy, and the fat guy's sitting at his desk, and he's probably writing down in his notebook. And the guy looks at Michael. Michael hands him his knife, and then he says, "Wow, Michael Myers." And then he goes through everything Michael Myers has done, and, presumed burned alive, like at the end of part 2, and then talks about what he did in H2O. That was a really cool scene. That was a really cool addition to the opening sequence. I liked how he handed, I'm just going to call him Fat Guy, his knife, like his work was done. And then he was going to go home and veg out on the couch or something. I don't fucking know. But I thought that would have been cool. And that would have been a cool way to end the movie. Say he kills everybody in the house, then he goes and attacks Jamie Lee Curtis. Oh, I think that would have been a better idea. But the fuck do I know? I'm just a guy who watches these films, not the guy who's making them. But overall, I said it again, not as bad as people say it is. It's crap, but it's not as bad. I would rather watch this over part 5. I think I would put this over part 6 with the Druids and Paul Rudd. But overall, it's still okay at best. It's not worth a lot of the crap it gets. So, is that it? Mm-hmm. All right. In the end, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Click the stupid bell. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get a lot of comments saying that I'm totally wrong. Busta Rhymes is the worst thing in this movie, and this movie sucks, blah, blah, blah. Feel free to tell me. And I'll tell you, hey, it's my opinion. I think you're wrong. So, in the end, I will say, I don't have any beer or coffee. I'll say, cheers, and happy fucking Halloween. See, that doesn't sound good coming out of me. Maybe out of Busta, but okay. See ya.